I am Tim Welch. This is my YouTube account, Selfless Awakening, where I like to ground all of this spiritual stuff. If you like what I'm talking about, subscribe and click the little notification to stay up to date on my latest videos, okay? All right, so this video is about the voice in the head. That voice that's always commenting, you're brushing your teeth, it's chattering. Sometimes you're aware of it, sometimes you're not, and then you wake up and you're like, what was I just thinking about, right? I want to talk about that. And this video also is geared to those of you out there that have had some experiences where you feel like you're stepping out of that. You know, you're waking up and you're noticing the voice in your head in weird moments throughout the day. That, you know, I consider that part of the awakening, this awakening that I talk about a lot. And so this is geared more to those of you that are having those experiences. If you're not having those experiences, this might just seem like jive talk, you know? So, all right, here we go. Here's my big point, the big thing I want to say, the big message is this. Large part of the spiritual practice, the daily practice, for me and my understanding and what I like to share is it's about allowing the voice in the head to say whatever it says and not judge it at all. Let it say what it says. Okay? Let it be where it is. No judgment, no good or bad, just let it be. And also, don't just stop there. Once you've looked at what's come up, shift it. You can shift it. Your thoughts are not running the show. You are the awareness behind the thoughts, and you have the ability to use the thoughts and guide the thoughts for purpose. Okay? That's my big message. All right, and now I'm going to get a little deeper into that, okay? So if you stopped at 2 minutes in, you heard my big message. Now I'm going to go into some goodies about that, okay? Two teachers I want to reference in this are Eckhart Tolle, boop, and Abraham Hicks, boop, okay? These two teachers, this one is the allow the thoughts to be as they come. Don't worry about them, don't mess with them. Just allow them to be. You are the awareness behind the thoughts one. This teacher is the you get what you focus on, the law of attraction one. Don't focus here. Don't focus on that crap for too long. Don't waste your focus there. Focus here. You focus here, you get more of that, the good stuff. You focus here, you get more of that, the bad stuff. Shift your focus. These two teachers. It's the combination of these two that is what I believe to be the supercharged spiritual practice. And isn't it amazing that we live in a time where we get to watch them on YouTube, right? Like we can actually learn like, oh, okay, I'm taking this from him and that from her, and I can put it all together into a practice, right? So that's what I do, and this is a huge part of my practice, and I'm so committed to want to share what I think works and what works for me. And so here, let's check this out. So what I do every morning is I wake up and I start off first very Eckhart Tolle. And I get quiet, and I sit and I look at what the chatter in my head is saying. I look at the voice in my head. I let it talk. I let it bitch. If it's got some bitching to do, I let it bitch. If it's excited and it's all, woo, I go, what are we doing today? If it's like that, if it's like the little kid version of me is in there all ready to go, I let that sit too. If it's sad, I'll let it be sad. And I just sit and I watch. And as I watch, I'm observing where the momentum is without me putting anything to it, right? And once I notice the thinking has started to loop, or it's starting to create, maybe the thinking has lodged itself into the voice in the head has gotten some little thing it's bitching about, and it starts creating story, and the story's growing, and it's a focus that I'm clear I don't want to have now. I've received the message that the mind has said, here's something to look at. But now it's not just that it's been acknowledged. Now it's actually trying to get some legs. It's trying to grow roots. It's like it's almost starting to have an identity of its own, this negative thinking that's pulling me with it. If I notice anything like that coming up in the morning, then what I'll do is I'll shift focus. And I shift focus anyway, even if this isn't happening, but that's especially a time when I'll go, okay, I heard the story. Now I'm gonna think about something else now. And what will happen is, as you shift the focus, if you have that negative thing sitting there, and you say, okay, I don't want to think about you. If this has gotten a lot of momentum, like if it got some legs for me, like if I went from 0 to 10, my frustration with whatever I'm thinking about, like, you know, let's say for you, like your boss, you're frustrated with your boss at work, and you started thinking, and then your heart raced, and then you were like, wow. And when that happens, usually, if you're like me, you don't want to stop thinking about it. It's like it has momentum, and it's like when you feel shitty, you almost want to keep feeling shitty, even though you know you could shift. It's like it has momentum, and that's the hardest part right there, is going from an emotional reaction that you're somewhat identifying with back, and then focusing on something else. And let me tell you, this is how I like to do it. Okay, this is how I like to think about it. Your thoughts, the voice in the head, let's think about everything the voice in the head says as a bubble. Every thought's a bubble. Boop, boop. It's like, I need to go to the store. It's like, oh man, these jogging pants feel uncomfortable. This haircut, bubble, 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 right? It's like a bubble machine. And the bubbles don't fly exactly straight. They kind of go boop, boop, boop. They're like, they'll fly in that direction, right? It's like, boop, 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 boop. And we got a stray one over here every once in a while, right? So let's think about it. Let's make that comparison, right? So the bubble machine's going boop, 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 and then you start thinking about the negative boss and the good man, bubble. It's like really got momentum. The bubbles are going toward the boss focus, right? So what you do is you can take those thoughts and you start going, I'm so grateful to have a house this morning. I'm so grateful to have money in the bank. It feels good to know that I'm fed. I'm happy that my family's okay. And you take the bubbles, boop, 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 and you start shooting some new bubbles in different directions. What doesn't happen is, the bubble machine doesn't immediately go, oh, we're done thinking about the boss? Boop, 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 boop. No, and now we're going to think about gratitude? Great. Boop, 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 boop. It doesn't do that. Here's what the mind does. It does this. It's like, boss, 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 boss. And then you go, I want to do some gratitude thing. It goes, gratitude thought, and then it goes back to the boss. And then you go, gratitude thought, and then it's like more boss. And then you've got some thinking in the good way. It's like some thinking in that positive focus. Some of it's there, but there's a lot of pull to the thinking about the shitty situation with the boss, right? Then you come back and it's more, and you find as you keep training your focus in the positive direction that the bubbles, you'll still get some stray thoughts thinking about the negativity about the boss. You'll still have some stray bubbles flying that way, but all of a sudden you'll start feeling them shift more. It's like, you know what? Things are actually going okay. I am doing all right, and I do have a nice house, and I do feel good about what I'm doing right now, and and I'm doing the best I can. And you'll notice that you still may have a little negative thought here or there, but eventually you can take the large mass of your mind, the thinking power, and put it over there. Okay? So, I know that's kind of a crazy, I don't know if anyone's ever said that like that before, but who cares? That's how I'm going to talk about it. And if that makes sense, that visual, it's how it works. Thoughts are not, you can't not think about something, but you can focus on something else, and then eventually the thinking will come, and then an occasional thought or two might go to that thing. Like, that's how the mind works, okay? So, but I have to now go back and forth between the two, because once you understand that, it can become very tempting to, as soon as something negative comes up, you perceive as negative comes up in your mind, to go, I don't want to think about that, shift, focus, positive, no, I'm still thinking about, it's like, if you're doing it that way, then you're not doing it right, because the idea is you have to be at peace with what's coming up, right? You have to really first allow it. Like, it would be okay if that horrible thing were still being thought over and over in your head. It's not like it's the end of the world, because you're the awareness behind it. You could just sit there and allow it. Like, look, man, I spent the whole morning, the voice in my head was going off, saying the same thing over and over. You could be at peace in that situation, right? Be there first, then start shifting. Then turn the bubble machine. That's my message. All right. If that made sense, hope that made sense. If not, there you go. It made sense to me. Sending you all love. Hope that helps. Subscribe if you like this, and I'll see you soon.